This is a fun story because I gotta get on an airplane soon. There have been way too damn many close calls involving airplanes recently. In fact, there have been so many that the acting head of the Federal Aviation Administration just issued a rare safety call to action for the industry. Right? In a memo, acting FAA Administrator Billy Nolen said he would form a safety review team, convene a safety summit, and order a review of aviation safety data to see whether there are other incidents that resemble ones we have seen in recent weeks. Now, notably here, Nolen did not flag any specific instances, but there have been multiple ones that have made the headlines in recent weeks. So there's so much random crazy bullshit happening right now, very possible you missed it. Right, there have been a handful of events that a National Transportation Safety Board spokesperson said presented a significant risk of a catastrophic outcome. With the FAA and National Transportation Safety Board currently investigating those. The first, which we talked about at the time, took place at JFK Airport on January 13th when an American Airlines jet crossed a runway right in front of a Delta Airlines flight that was getting ready to take off. Then, just under 2 weeks ago, a FedEx cargo plane almost landed on top of a Southwest Airlines passenger flight at Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. This after an air traffic controller had cleared the FedEx jet to land on the runway where the Southwest plane had been cleared to take off. The NTSB saying those two planes came within just 100 feet of each other. And according to the Washington Post, the NTSB said just yesterday that it's investigating 2 other situations involving United Airlines flights at airports in Hawaii, with one of those incidents taking place in Honolulu and was very similar to the events in Austin and New York. A cargo jet operated by the company Cessna and a United passenger airplane. While there's been very little reporting on this, according to the Post, the FAA said an air traffic controller told the United crew to stop on a taxiway before reaching the runway, but the aircraft just crossed instead, with the Cessna stopping about 1,170 feet from the United jet. And then that other Hawaii United episode was totally different, with this one actually happening back in December, but there's only been extensive news coverage of it in the last 48 hours or so. And that was a United flight full of passengers taking off from the Maui airport, climbing for about a minute, and then just taking a sudden nosedive. Though luckily, not crashing, but coming just 775 feet above the Pacific Ocean. So I think it's a good thing that the FAA is taking action here. But also notably, this comes at a time where the FAA is facing growing scrutiny. Not only because of what we just talked about, but because of that insane incident last month when a key safety bulletin system went down, prompting the agency to ground all flights nationwide for the first time since 9/11. And regarding that, last week, representatives on the House Transportation Committee expressed their concern that the FAA had not responded quickly enough to safety and management issues that have existed for a while now. And to that point, timing's always important with these stories, Nolen just so happened to issue his safety memo one day before he was set to testify before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation regarding the safety bulletin system outage. Though that hearing is taking place as we're recording today's show, so we're gonna have to wait to talk about that tomorrow at least. But unfortunately, whatever happens there, it's really unclear how they're going to make this situation better. And that's in part because there's a huge fundamental barrier here, the total lack of stable leadership. Right? Many federal lawmakers have argued that the biggest obstacle the FAA faces is the fact that it hasn't had a permanent leader since the last administrator stepped down back in March. And all these recent issues just underscore that. Now, President Biden has actually nominated Philip Washington, chief executive of Denver International Airport, to head the agency, but the Senate hasn't confirmed him because there are concerns about his qualifications. And so you take all of that, and it's why we're going to obviously keep our eyes on this story.